Church Reporter readers. Today, I have the honor and privilege to interview Rabbi and author Rabbi Harold Kushner. Rabbi Kushner is the author of many best-selling books, including world-renowned book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. Hi, Rabbi Kushner. Thank you so much for taking the time to interview with me today.
Well, Shana, I'm just honored and delighted by the interest.
Thank you. Why did you decide to become a rabbi?
Probably sometime when I was in college. I entered college with no idea what I was going to do for a living. I thought maybe I'd be a teacher because, as you can understand, most of the adults I'd ever met were teachers. But I sort of soured on that. I went to Columbia University, which is just a few blocks away from the Jewish Theological Seminary, so I took a few adult classes there. Met some other students who were studying to be rabbis. We would stay up late at night, talk about being Jewish in the 20th century and what that meant. And the more I talked to them, the more I felt this is something I could do with my life. So I applied to rabbinical school, and when I look back, I can see it was just the most natural thing to do. This is what I was intended to do with life. I've never had an uncomfortable day being a rabbi.
So did your friends influence you to want to become a rabbi?
They didn't, well, indirectly, they never spoke to me about it. They talked about themselves, about why they wanted to be rabbis. And there was one other very important factor. I thought my rabbi at the congregation where I grew up in Brooklyn was just a wonderful person. Marvelous preacher, honored in the community, changed people's lives, comforted them at funerals. And I admired him, and I saw how much my parents admired him. I saw how much our neighbors admired him. And when I started to play with the idea of maybe this is something I can do, I think that fed into it.
Yes. What is your proudest professional moment?
Oh gosh, depends how do you measure best. Maybe the first sermon I gave here at Temple Israel when I came here 50 years ago. And people responded. And people seemed to like what I had to say. And I think everything else is built on that. Maybe the moment I'm proudest of is when President Clinton asked me to do the Bible reading at his inauguration.
That must have been very, very proud.
It was very exciting to be there, but it didn't really make much of a difference. It made a difference to me, but I don't think it made a difference to anybody else. The sermons I've given here have made a difference to other people, and that means a lot to me.
Yes. What is the challenging part about being a rabbi, and what is the most rewarding part?
The most rewarding part is knowing that people's celebrations, a wedding, a bar mitzvah, meant more to them because I was part of it, and that people's tragedies, the death of somebody in the family, were more easy for them to take because I helped them through it. Just to know that I've made life richer for some people, that I've used Judaism to make life richer for people, has been rewarding. The most frustrating part is just dealing with a congregation of several hundred families, knowing that the Jewish tradition has so much to offer them, and some people just aren't open to it. You know, I've officiated a bar mitzvah, and I know, because I can just see the body language of the family, that they're sitting there looking at their watches, waiting for the service to be over so they can go to the celebration in a restaurant somewhere, and that the young man will never come back and finish that year of Hebrew school. That this whole thing has just been a show. And I feel so sad for them because the wisdom of Judaism has so much to say to a young person, and they just don't take it seriously.
Yes. What is the most valuable lesson you have learned through your career?
That what I say to people who have something, at a funeral or something to celebrate is less important than my just being there. My presence represents the presence of God, the presence of Judaism. I can give a good speech or a bad speech. I can get the ceremony right or I can make mistakes. It doesn't make any difference. My being there makes it a religious moment. It took me a while to realize that, but once I did, it's been the inspiration to my career.
Yes. I think that a great valuable lesson that you learned was in your book, Faith and Family.
What about my book, Faith and Family?
I think that there's a lot of great valuable lessons in that book.
Oh, thank you. The book came out about 10 years ago. The congregation was celebrating my having been with them for 40 years. And they want me to choose my favorite sermons from those 40 years, and that's what went into Faith and Family. One of the most frustrating parts of being a rabbi is when I give a really good sermon and then it's over.
Yes.
And some people will remember it and be changed by it, and most people will forget it, no matter how good a sermon it was. And, I work very hard to make it an important message, and some people will just wait for it to be over. So being able to put that between hard covers and have some of my best sermons in a book for people to read when they have the leisure or when they need it, that was very comforting.
I really like the passage, The Handkerchief.
Thank you very much. That's one of my favorites.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Who are your biggest role models?
My rabbi when I was growing up in Brooklyn, his name was Israel Leventhal. I thought he was an old man when I first met him. He must have been 50 at the time. I saw the way the community respected him. I saw the way people did things differently because he urged them to. He taught them to appreciate it. He was a wonderful preacher. I heard stories about how people would walk from all over neighborhoods in Brooklyn to the Brooklyn Jewish Center to hear him give a sermon. And I thought that was really incredible. And today, when I go out and speak on my book someplace and somebody tells me they've driven 20 miles to hear me because my book has meant so much to them, I feel that I'm in the Rabbi Leventhal tradition, and that's immensely gratifying.
That must mean that you're an incredible rabbi.
Yes, very much so.
I always end my interviews with the question, what is your favorite meal and dessert?
My favorite dessert is ice cream, but I don't eat that very much anymore. I'm just trying to cut down on the ice cream. My favorite meal? My wife and I have changed our tastes with time. We've been married over 50 years. We don't eat meat anymore. We'll eat broiled fish. But one of our favorite meals is just a green salad with something on it, some tuna fish or some sardines.
I agree.
Oh, I'm glad.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Kushner. I'm so glad I got to know you better, and I feel so proud to be a member of your congregation.
I am so proud to have you in the congregation, and I am honored by your interest.
Thank you.
Okay.